Control what you can. Accept what you can't. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest lessons to live by. Because when life starts falling apart, instinct is to grab on tighter, to fix, to fight, to force things back into place. But the truth is, the more we try to control everything, the more powerless we actually feel. The moment you stop trying to manage what's beyond you, something amazing happens. You rediscover peace. See, calm isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about accepting that not everything will be. It's about shifting your focus from the chaos outside to the clarity within. When you control your breath, your thoughts, your choices, you take your power back. That's where strength begins, not in controlling the world, but in mastering yourself. Calm is not weakness. It's strength under pressure. Anyone can stay composed when life is easy. When the plan is working, the people around you are kind, and the world seems fair. But real calm, the kind that changes everything, only shows up when everything else disappears. When life tests you, when you feel trapped, unseen, or misunderstood, that's when calm becomes your power. The world often mistakes calmness for indifference. They say, you're too quiet, or you don't care enough. But calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply enough not to let emotions control you. It means you've learned that reacting in chaos only feeds it. Think about it. When everyone around you is panicking, the person who remains calm becomes the anchor. The leader, the light in the storm. People naturally gravitate toward calm energy because it feels safe. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's stable. That's why staying calm is not weakness. It's mastery. It's the ability to stand in the middle of the fire and not let it burn your peace. But here's the truth, most people don't realize a calm doesn't come naturally. It's not something you just have. It's something you build. It comes from thousands of tiny moments when you choose patience over panic, stillness over reaction, silence over shouting. Every time you take a deep breath before responding, every time you pause instead of explode, every time you decide not to let anger dictate your actions, you're strengthening your inner calm. You're training your mind to lead, not follow. And when you build that kind of inner strength, life starts to shift. Problems don't disappear, but your relationship with them changes. You stop being tossed around by the storm because you become the calm within it. The truth is, people are often the ones who face the most chaos. They've been through pain, loss, heartbreak, and failure, and still found a way to stand tall. They've learned that reacting to everything only exhausts you. That peace isn't found in control, but in surrender. So the next time someone mistakes your calmness for weakness, smile. Because they don't see the battles you've already fought to get here. They don't know how many storms you've survived quietly, how many times you've chosen peace instead of revenge, clarity instead of confusion. Calm doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. It makes you capable of leading through chaos. So stay calm, not because life is easy, but because you've learned the secret. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf them. And that's what real power looks like. Breathe before you break. It sounds simple. Too simple, maybe. But in the middle of chaos, when everything is spinning out of control, the simplest things are often the most powerful. When life hits you hard, when you lose something, someone, or even yourself, your body tightens, your heart races, your thoughts spiral. You want to fight back, fix everything, escape the pain. But in that storm of reaction, you forget the one thing that can bring you back to center, your breath. Breathing is the body's way of saying, you're still here. It's your reminder that even when the world feels like it's collapsing, you can still choose how to respond. That's where control begins, not with your situation, but with your state. Think about it. Every powerful athlete, every mindful leader, every person who performs under pressure, they all use the same technique. They breathe. They slow down. Because the breath is the bridge between your body and your mind. It tells your nervous system, I am safe. When you breathe deeply, you're not ignoring the problem. You're preparing yourself to face it with clarity. One slow inhale can silence 1,000 racing thoughts. One calm exhale can release anger, fear, and confusion. Here's the truth. Most of us break not because of what happens to us, because we stop breathing through it. We let panic win. We let emotion take the driver's seat. But when you take that one pause, that one breath, you interrupt the chaos, you create space to think, to feel, to choose. Sometimes that breath is the only thing keeping you from saying something you'll regret, from quitting too soon, from collapsing under pressure. That breath becomes your armor. It doesn't change the situation. It changes you in the situation. There's a quote that says, when you own your breath, no one can steal your peace. That's not poetry. That's biology. Your breath regulates your heart, your emotions, your focus. It's the switch that turns panic into presence. So when everything starts to fall apart, before you react, before you shout, before you give up, stop. Close your eyes. Breathe. Feel that air moving in and out of your lungs. Feel your heart slow down. Feel yourself coming back home to this moment, to this body, to this breath. That's how strength begins. Not with noise, not with control, with stillness. You can't rebuild your world if you can't first rebuild your calm. So breathe. Not because it fixes everything, but because it helps you survive anything. Before you break, just breathe. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. But most of us spend our whole lives running from it, fighting it, or pretending it doesn't exist. We're told that pain means something is wrong, that it's a sign we've failed, that we've lost, that life has turned against us. But what if that's not true? What if pain isn't here to destroy you, but to wake you up? Every person you admire, every great leader, every strong soul you've ever met, they didn't become who they are in spite of pain, they became who they are because of it. Pain refines you. It strips away what's fake, what's temporary, what's fragile, and it leaves behind only what's real. It teaches you empathy, patience, humility. It teaches you to listen to yourself in a way you never did before. See, when everything's going well, we don't question much. We coast, we assume. We take things for granted. When life falls apart, when it hurts, we're forced to look deeper. Pain becomes the mirror that shows us what truly matters. There's a quiet wisdom that only comes from suffering. It teaches you to slow down, to let go, to stop pretending you're invincible. It shows you that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of strength. Because once you've been broken and rebuilt yourself, you see life differently. You see others differently. You lead with heart instead of ego. And yes, pain changes you, but not always in the way you expect. Sometimes it makes you softer. Sometimes it makes you wiser. Sometimes it breaks open a part of you that had to be free. The key is not to ask, why is this happening to me? The real question is, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift turns pain from an enemy into a guide. When you start to see pain as a messenger, not a punishment, you stop feeling like a victim. You realize that every heartbreak, every setback, every dark night has a purpose to help you grow into the person you were meant to become. And here's the truth. Healing doesn't mean the pain disappears. It means you learn how to carry it differently. You learn to use it as fuel, not fire. You learn that even your scars can light the way for someone else. So if you're hurting right now, don't run from it. Don't bury it. Sit with it. Listen to it. Let it teach you. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the pain that nearly broke you actually built you. Pain doesn't mean you're being punished. It means you're being prepared. Prepared for growth. Prepared for peace. Prepared for the next chapter of your life, stronger, wiser, and more awake than ever before. When everything feels broken, it's natural to freeze. Your mind runs wild asking, how do I fix all of this? But here's the truth, you don't have to fix everything. You just have to take the next right step. When life falls apart, the big picture feels overwhelming. The future looks uncertain. The road ahead feels endless. When you stare too far ahead, you lose the strength to move. That's why calm doesn't come from having the entire plan. It comes from focusing on one thing, one choice, small action at a time. You don't climb a mountain by jumping to the top. You do it by taking one step, then another and another. The same is true in life. When your world shatters, the goal isn't to rebuild it overnight. It's to start with one piece. Sometimes that one step is as small as getting out of bed. Sometimes it's making one phone call, writing one page, or taking one deep breath. Whatever that step is, it matters. Because progress is built in inches, not leaps. We often wait until we feel ready, until the path is clear, until we have every answer. But the truth is, you'll rarely feel ready. Clarity doesn't come before movement. It comes through movement. Each step you take reveals the next one. Each small action builds confidence. There's power in simplicity. When life is heavy, when everything hurts, focusing on the big picture only amplifies the fear. But when you narrow your focus to the next right step, you reclaim control. You shrink chaos into something you can handle. Ask yourself, what's the next right thing I can do right now? Not the perfect thing. Not the final solution. Just the next right thing. Maybe it's reaching out for help. Maybe it's resting. Maybe it's choosing to forgive or simply to keep breathing. When you honor that next step, no matter how small, you build momentum. And momentum, even tiny, is what saves you from despair. Because forward is forward, even if it's just 1 inch at a time. Remember, every great comeback begins with a single decision to move, to start, to keep going even when you can't see the finish line. The universe rewards movement. The moment you take that first step, doors begin to open, strength begins to return, and suddenly, what once felt impossible starts to look manageable. So don't worry about how you reach the end. Don't get lost in what's broken. Focus on what's next. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that all those tiny steps, all those moments when almost gave up but didn't, were actually the path itself. You don't rebuild your life overnight. You rebuild it step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. And sometimes the courage to take that next step is all the strength you need. Peace is built, not found. It's not something you stumble upon in a perfect life. It's something you create in the middle of an imperfect one. We grow up believing peace is a place we reach once everything falls into place, once we have enough money, love, or success. But life doesn't work that way. Peace isn't waiting for you at the finish line. It's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when you choose calm over chaos, gratitude over resentment, faith over fear. See, peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the ability to stay grounded despite them. It's a practice, not a prize, a daily discipline, a choice. You build peace when you stop trying to control every outcome. You build peace when you let go of grudges that drain your energy. You build peace when you pause before reacting, when you forgive even without an apology, when you choose presence over perfection. Most people wait for peace to show up after the storm passes. The truth is, peace is what helps you survive the storm. It's what keeps you steady when life feels uncertain, when everything around you is shifting and breaking. Building peace means making room for stillness. It means learning to sit with yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your emotions, without running away from them. It's in those quiet, uncomfortable spaces that you learn who you really are. And yes, building peace takes time. You'll stumble, you'll lose it, you'll find it again. Because peace isn't permanent, it's something you keep returning to. Like the ocean's tide, it flows, it retreats, it returns. When you wake up and start your day with gratitude instead of scrolling through chaos, you're building peace. When you choose to take a walk instead of arguing, you're building peace. When you breathe through your frustration and let it pass, you're building peace. These tiny choices don't look powerful, but they are. They shape your mind, they shape your energy, they shape your life. Here's the beauty of it. When you build peace within yourself, you spread it. Your calm becomes contagious. You become that person who walks into a room and instantly makes others feel safe, because peace isn't just for you. It's something you give to the world through the way you live. So stop searching for peace like it's lost somewhere out there. Start building it right here, right now, with what you have. Piece by piece, breath by breath, choice by choice. Because peace isn't found in a life without storms. It's found in the strength to stay calm through them. And once you learn to build that kind of peace nothing, and no one can take it away from you.